What's up guys, welcome back to my channel, and if you're new here, hi, I'm Bidisha. Today's video is a massive book haul. If you follow me on Instagram, I posted a couple of weeks ago that I went to a books thrift store and I got a lot of books from there, and I've been very excited to shoot this haul. Also, I love doing hauls and I haven't done any in a very long time. So I decided why not do a haul of all the books. I got 21 books, I think, and I'm gonna tell you the price. I have all the books in front of me right now, and before I start the haul, I want to tell you about the location or the store that I bought it from, in case you stay in Bangalore and if you want to check out and get some books for yourself too. I actually took a screenshot of the exact address. It's actually called Book Fair. It's in Koramangala. To be exact, it's in KHB Colony, 5th block, Koramangala, Bengaluru. For the directions, you can just Google Book Fair Koramangala. Just cross-check if it's KHB Colony or not. It should be pretty easy to find. It's right there on the main road. So yeah. Anyways, having said that, let's continue with the massive book haul. Okay, what should I start with? Oh yeah. One of these books, actually three, a long time ago. That's how I came to know about the place. We just were roaming around the area maybe 2 years back, and I found this place. But I only bought one book the first time, which is actually 3 books, which is the Lord of the Rings series. The whole series is in this book. The book is not in a very good condition, as you can see, but I don't care as long as all the pages are there and looks like nothing has been ripped off. So that's pretty cool. And I got this for 150 rupees. Can you imagine all the 3 books? I haven't checked how much the 3 books in total cost. I'll check on Amazon and maybe I'll put it here. Okay, the cheapest editions I found on Amazon cost rupees 999 after discount. So yeah, it's a pretty good deal. I think everybody watching this video knows the story of Lord of the Rings, except for me. I still haven't read it and I have not watched the movies too, because I want to read the books before watching the movie. Except for the first movie, which I watched long back and I don't remember. So yeah, that's the first thing that I need to show, which is 3 books. And don't worry, for the rest of the books that I'll be showing, I'll be giving a little bit of summary. Let's continue. I actually got a lot of classics. I'm not generally a classics reader. I think I've just read like 5 to 6 classics in my life. I wanna fix that. I wanna read more. The first book that I picked up is Jane Austen's Emma. I think you've heard about this book. There is a movie too, but the more popular versions of this story are the movie Clueless and the Indian movie Aisha. Should I read the Goodreads description? Okay. Emma Woodhouse is one of Austen's most captivating and vivid characters. Beautiful, spoiled, vain, and irresistibly witty, Emma organizes the lives of the inhabitants of her sleepy little village and plays matchmaker with devastating effects. That's all that says. I got this one for 150 rupees, which is actually the actual price. There was no extra discount because these were brand new books. They were sealed. So you should be able to find this book in Amazon too for the same price. The next Jane Austen book, I actually got how many Jane Austen books? 1, 2, 3 and 4. So let me just finish the Jane Austen books before continuing with the rest of them. The second Jane Austen book that I got is Pride and Prejudice, another very popular book. There's so many movie adaptations. There's even one with Aishwarya Rai, which is called Pride and Prejudice, right? So I think you know the story of this too. I actually know the stories of most of the classics that I got, but I wanted to read them in the author's writings. If you don't know, Pride and Prejudice is the story of 4 sisters, Elizabeth Bennet being the protagonist. Okay, let me just read what's written in the back of the book. Pride and Prejudice is a romantic novel written by Jane Austen. The story is set in late 18th century England and centers around the Bennet family, which consists of Mr. and Mrs. Bennet and their 5 daughters. 5 daughters? Why do I always think it's 4 daughters? Anyways, Jane and Elizabeth, the eldest daughters, are the best of friends and share their hopes and dreams together. Mr. Bingley, a wealthy neighbor, develops a liking for Jane. His friend, Mr. Darcy, is a handsome but proud and rude man. He begins liking Elizabeth, a lady below his class. Elizabeth, on the other hand, shares a love-hate relationship with him. This classic is full of comical situations that make it worth reading. I think it's a very bleh description. The book is much more. I think this description should have focused more on Elizabeth as a person and her character. This book was written in 1813 and Elizabeth Bennet was way ahead of her time for that era. It's a story of a woman who is very opinionated in 1813 and it's a very interesting character because of that, which they missed to point out in the back of the story. So yeah, I think that would have been a better. And I got this book for 150 rupees too, and it was its original price. The next Jane Austen books that I got are these two, and they came in one big book, and you can see the price. I got these two books for 199 rupees. That means 99.5, which is a pretty good deal. The two books that I got are Mansfield Park and Northanger Abbey. Northanger Abbey, I've heard a lot about this and I've been meaning to read this for quite some time. Mansfield Park is a story of a girl named Fanny Price who grew up in a rural area. For a lack of a different word, she's the eldest of 5 or 6 children, but because of money problems that her parents were having, she was sent to live with her aunt and uncle in an estate. And this is the story of her struggling to cope or fit in that life, and I think she gets bullied or something in the new place that she moves to. That's about all I know about this story. And Northanger Abbey is the story of Catherine. It's a story of a girl who is very sweet and innocent and to some extent delusional about life, and I think it's about her growing up. I'm so sorry for giving like very poor book summaries, but I have not read these books and I know very little about both of these ones because they are not as popular as the rest of the two books that I got, and I have not seen any movie adaptations of them, though let me check if they do have. It seems both of these books have movies respectively. Okay, let's move on to the next classic. Little Women by Louisa May Alcott. I got this one for its actual price, which is 150 rupees. So you should be able to find this one in Amazon too for the same price. I have been meaning to read the book ever since I watched the latest Little Women. I did not watch the previous versions. There are a lot of versions of Little Women. The latest version of this starred Saoirse Ronan, I hope I'm pronouncing her name right, and Timothée Chalamet and Emma Watson, and I forgot the names of the other actors. But yeah, absolutely loved. But I think they have changed the ending in the newest one, which is the reason I want to watch the previous one, which stars Christian Bale, by the way, in case that intrigues you. So yeah, and I wanted to read the story in Louisa May Alcott's writings, in her words. The next classic that I picked up is Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. There are a lot of names for this book. Some call it The Strange Case of Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde, some call it Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. And Jekyll and Hyde also is the same book, but they just changed the name for some reason. I have actually read this book but long ago, and I think in that version the title was called Jekyll and Hyde. I remember loving it, but I don't remember much about this story except for the fact that there is a mad scientist who is very kind and sweet, but he does something in experiments on himself and his evil monstrous side comes out, and it sounds really interesting. These are the kind of classics I have always been interested in growing up instead of the family oriented ones, but as I'm growing older I think I am starting to appreciate them more. Anyways, I got this for 99 rupees, which is a definite steal. So yeah, I'm very happy about this, and also I love the size of this book. This will be great while traveling, when we can travel, that is. I have one more classic, Collected Short Stories by Leo Tolstoy. And I got this for 199 rupees and the actual price is 300 rupees. Not a bad deal. I have actually been meaning to read Anna Karenina and War and Peace for a few years, but I have been so intimidated by the thought of it. I actually saw War and Peace and Anna Karenina too in the store, but I did not get it because I wanted to see if I like Leo Tolstoy's writing, and only then I think I'll pick up those two books. So I got the short stories books. It has how many short stories? 2, 6, 9, 36 short stories. So that's plenty for me to get used to his writing and decide if I actually like his writing and want to pick it up or not. That was the last classic. The next book that I'm picking up, Chocolate. Oh, now major motion film. I got this one for 75 rupees, which is hard to believe, getting a book for 75 rupees. This is part of a 4-book series, I think. This book is set in France and it's around chocolates, so I thought this would be really good to read around Christmas or New Year's. I think it's gonna be very, how should I call it? I think it's gonna be very atmospheric. It's a story of a woman named Vienne Rocher. She arrives in a French village and starts a chocolate boutique. But something happens, and because of that, the priest of the town is not very happy with her and wants to shut her boutique, I think. That's all I know about this story. And it seems to be a feel-good book, so I'm gonna read that around New Year, I think. What should I pick up next? The next book I picked up is Memoirs of Gita. It's a story inspired by a real girl who lives in a society where basically virgins are sold off or auctioned and the highest bidder gets them. Okay, let me read the Goodreads summary for this book because I'm not able to explain it properly. In Memoirs of Gita, we enter a world where appearances are paramount, where a girl's virginity is auctioned to the highest bidder, where women are trained to beguile the most powerful men, and where love is scorned as evolution. Sounds very interesting, and I remember my sister talking about this book quite a while back. As far as I remember, she read it and she loved it, so I picked this one up. Next book that I bought is Jeffrey Archer's The 11th Commandment, and I got this for 99 rupees. Amazing. Once again, I don't know much about this book except that it follows a CIA agent, and in honesty, I don't want to know more before reading the book. I just want to dive into it without knowing anything about the story, because that's what I did with Cain and Abel. That's the only other book of Jeffrey Archer that I read, and I really liked it, so I have been wanting to read more of his work. Granted, I took like 3 months to finish Cain and Abel, and I think I'll take equally long to finish this. Maybe it's a little smaller in length than Cain and Abel, so hopefully it won't take me that long. But yeah, I wanted to read more of Jeffrey Archer, and I saw this for 99 rupees and I picked it up. Up next, Wonder by R.J. Palacio. I got this for 75 rupees. That is amazing. I think there's a movie also for this book. This is the story of a boy named August who has a very unique face, because of which he is not easily accepted in society. And he is, as far as I know, homeschooled until the story starts. And the story starts when he is sent to a public school, and how he deals with the whole situation of people not accepting. So yeah, that's all I know about this book, and I'm gonna update after I read this. Up next, I got this huge ass book, and I have a feeling there used to be a cover for this book, but then it's not there anymore because obviously it must be a second-hand book. And I got this for 199 rupees, and it is actually 3 books, a collection of 3 books by Robin Cook. They are medical thrillers basically. The 3 books that I got are Outbreak, Mortal Fear and Mutation. So yeah, let me give you a quick summary of each of these books. Okay, the first book, Outbreak. It says murder and mystery reach epidemic proportions when a devastating plague sweeps the country. And Mortal Fear is about a controversial future of modern medicine. It's about genetic research, medical nightmare on the cutting edge of genetic research. And the third one, Mutation, about mutation, I think going wrong, I guess. So they sound really interesting, and I think I've already mentioned I got the 3 of these books for 199 rupees. Pretty good deal. I just have 4 more books to show. The next book that I picked up is Girl with a Pearl Earring by Tracy Chevalier. There is a movie by this name too, and it stars Scarlett Johansson. It's on the famous painting which is also called the Dutch Mona Lisa. I forgot the name of the painter, but yeah, it's on the famous painting. This is basically the painting. It's called Dutch Mona Lisa because nobody really knows the woman who is being painted in this. So she's basically a mystery. So this novel is kind of an imagination of a life. The movie is actually on my watch list. I saw the trailer somewhere. Anyways, the next book that I picked up is The Name of the Wind. I've heard so many good things about this book in BookTube, so I picked it up. I got it for 195 rupees, and I'm sure this won't be for one. This is for 9 US dollars, which is how much? How much is 9 US dollars in INR?
661 rupees and 82 paise.
This is the first book of a trilogy, as far as I remember. Let me quickly fact check. Yes, it's part of a trilogy and this is the first book. This is the tale of the magically gifted young man who grows to be the most notorious wizard his world has ever seen. The intimate narrative of his childhood is a trope of traveling players, his years spent as a near-feral orphan in a crime-ridden city, his day in Brazil, yet successful bid to enter a legendary school of magic, and his life as a fugitive after the murder of a king forms a gripping coming-of-age story. Sounds really good to me, and I have heard a lot of good things about this book. And it's a fantasy book, so I think I may, even though I want to start with the classics, I may end up picking this one before. The last two books are part of a series, a very famous series. I got the second and the third book and I couldn't find the first book in the store. Maybe somebody picked it up or maybe I did not look hard enough. But it's his Dark Material series by Philip Pullman. I got the second and the third book. This is the second book, The Subtle Knife, and this is the third book, The Amber Spyglass. I actually watched the movie of the first book when I was a kid. It's called The Golden Compass. I think a lot of you may have watched it too. And I wanted to read the rest of the books, and I have heard so many good things about this book series also. But since I did not find the first book, I think I'll get a Kindle version. Also, in 2020, the show called His Dark Materials released on Hotstar. So yeah, that's all the books that I got from the thrift bookshop. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18 and 19, 20, 21. 21 books, and the total of these 2,350 rupees, which is amazing. Otherwise, this book itself would have costed me like 700 rupees. So yeah, if you're in Bangalore and if you like to read books, you should definitely check out this place. And you may have to hunt a little bit. You start seeing books you may want to read unless you have all the books in the world. So that's it for today's video. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe and leave a comment with some book suggestions if you have that I should check out. Also, I'll leave the address of the bookstore in the description box below so that it gets easier for you. Having said that, thank you so much for watching. I'll see you in my next video. Bye.